why India produces global CEOs but not global brands.
We are the back office of the world. Today, Indian entrepreneurs are launching companies in India and they're going global in the first 3, 5, 10 years. And Indians were traditionally weak in branding and marketing. Let me say that.
भारत में मंदिर में भी पैसा चढ़ता है.
Over the last financial year, this temple has earned 133 crore rupees.
लेकिन अगर कोई तमीज से धंधा बनाए ना तो उसको भी गालियां पड़ती हैं.
सही बात है.
ये मेंटालिटी क्यों है?
Because ऐसा है कि अगर आपने बिजनेस बनाया तो कुछ गलत किया ही होगा, कुछ कॉम्प्रोमाइज किया होगा.
टीआरपी आएगी हिंदू मुसलमान करके. अगर जनता के मुद्दे दिखाए जाते हैं तो लोग देखेंगे नहीं.
They say you get the media that you deserve. If people are more interested in a certain actress and it gets millions of views, if the quality of air is not the biggest health issue, then what is it less than corona?
दो वर्ड्स बहुत फ्रीक्वेंटली यूज होते हैं, लटियंस मीडिया, फिर वहां से एक रिवर्सल आया गोदी मीडिया.
I don't believe in labels. Labels tend to paint everybody in, and everybody is unique. It's again easy to kind of paint everyone as Godi media. Yes, the Indian media can be more forthcoming, honest in the way we portray reality.
Are awards purchased?
We live in a commercial world. A lot of things happen. Possibly, yes.
प्रशंसा तो भगवान को भी अच्छी लगती है. आपने लेगेसी मीडिया का दौर भी देखा है, आपने सोशल मीडिया का राइज भी देखा है.
All the content creators love to be on mainstream media brands. So I think there is a role for both. Media brands have to learn the new tricks of the game.
Sir, you spoke of MDI. आपने वहाँ से पढ़ाई करी. Then later on, you went on to become one of the board governors.
Yeah, it is one of the happiest days in my life. Yeah. I will not forget that date. And sorry, I'm thinking about my mom. So.
Investor, but I would like to introduce you as Rupert Murdoch of India in the making. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Ishaan. You know, it's very kind of you to introduce me to that, but I'm far away from that. But yes, I'm in the media space. God's been kind, but there's a long way to go. I always say the journey is equally important or possibly more important than the destination. These are titles and sometimes we like the titles, but I think I have a long way to go. But happy to be here, Ishaan.
Sir, they call you the media mogul of India. Can you please define what is a media mogul?
They say media mogul is a general term. I started a company called Exchange for Media. But 5.5 years back, I wanted to build a B2B e-commerce company for the media industry where buying and selling of media time and space happened on a marketplace. And that didn't work out for the first 3.5 years. Then we started a newsletter on the business of media, advertising, marketing, communication, which became the homepage of everybody. And then Exchange for Media became a media company. We have a daily newsletter for the last 23 plus years. We have a weekly for the last 22 years called Impact. We have Pitch. We have a real estate magazine for almost 21.5 years. So it became a media company. Then 11.5 years back, I acquired Business World. So that is again a very venerable media product. So hence I came in the media domain and, titles are titles. Ultimately I'm in the business of content and in the business of audiences. Content should make an impact on these audiences. That is, I have a long way to go to improve what we do, to deepen what we do, to deepen the impact of what we do. So, it's good to, when you're younger, you like these titles. As you grow older, I think what you like is the impact of your work. How's the impact? How can you improve the impact? And that's what is my current focus.
You're too humble to accept those things, but I'll still call you that. Sir, you entered Business World magazine domain. उसकी हालत बहुत खराब थी उस समय. आप उसको ज़मीन से उठा के ऊपर तक ले गए, एंड देन यू एक्वायर्ड इट फ्रॉम द एबीपी ग्रुप। वो जर्नी आप थोड़ा सा बताइए, क्योंकि किसी मैगजीन को रिवाइव करना, खासकर आज की डेट में, एंड देन एक्वायरिंग दैट फ्रॉम अ बिग मीडिया ग्रुप इज वन ऑफ द फैंटास्टिक अचीवमेंट्स। वो प्रोसेस थोड़ा सा प्लीज बताइए एक बार।
Can I tell you, I acquired it in late 2013. From 2014, I started running it. So that's why I said, almost 11 years and 10 months I've been running it. More like 12 years, not, in 2 months it'll be 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, for 13 years, God helped me build Exchange for Media. And say in 10 years, because the first 3.5 years, we were trying to build the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Exchange for Media. Then we became a content company and a media. So I had some knowledge of building business media by doing it. I don't have a journalism background. I didn't go to a media school or journalism. I went to an engineering school. I went to MDI, a business school. So I had only by doing I learned, right? Only thing I'd say that I would consume a lot of business media, to consume all the business magazines, international, national. I used to read Fast Company, Wired, and I can go on, Economist, and all the Fortune, Forbes, Business World, Business India, Business Today, Outlook Business, all the magazines, So, Economic Times, Business Standard, Financial Express, Mint, So I am a person who consumes content. I love books. I love, So it was something as a domain I knew. The opportunity to acquire came. So I took a leap of faith. I took a call in within an hour, made an offer. As I believe in the power of serendipity, or God's way of putting people together, ideas together. It happened. So it was not like, yes, but I must say the seed in my mind was there. Because I must tell you a backstory that a senior executive of a media company who used to publish Fortune at that time, India Today Group used to, and the CEO of that group at that time was a gentleman called Ashish Pakka. He, in 2010, introduced me to a gentleman called William Adamopoulos, who was the Asia Pacific head of Forbes, and said, if you ever bring Forbes to India, Anurag is the best guy to partner. I was very young. In 2010, I was 38 years young. And I met William, and I realized Forbes wanted to come to India, and I realized how they work. So I introduced them to Raghav Bahl, Harish Chawla, and B. Sai Kumar, which was Network 18 Group at that time, and they did a licensing agreement. So that time, an Indian media owner was a friend of mine, said, Anurag, what is the point in building other people's business? You should have your own brand. So when the opportunity, so it was in my mind, and the day the opportunity came, God made it happen. So it was not like a grand plan, but yes, the seed in the mind was there. I'd built Exchange for Media, which is India's #1 advertising, marketing, media communication website, Impact, which is a weekly pitch, Reality Plus, and 70 leading pioneering event IPs. So it was a logical step up from domain of advertising, marketing, media to get to a larger business domain. So that happened. And honestly, as I've said it many times before, the best of business world is yet to come. There is a lot that we've achieved, but there is a lot more to achieve. So, I won't celebrate yet. Give me 2 more years. Maybe then we'll have a conversation, and I would really feel that, I've been able to realize my own vision and make a deeper impact than I have today, that business world has today. So, I used to, and I wouldn't say that, I think business world is a very strong brand, is a very strong product. So I inherited that and I built around it. Of course, in the last 10, 12 years, the world has changed a lot. And we're trying to keep pace with that. Content creation is not just the monopoly of media companies, individuals like yours, other content creators are building content which is getting huge audiences. So the nature of media has changed. The definition of media has changed. The kind of players media has, especially business media, has changed. And one has to keep pace, but one must celebrate what one has, improve what one has, stay in the play, and parallelly keep improving, keep deepening what one has. So, while we may have added community products like BW Hotelier is the number one B2B community on hospitality, and I can go on. In some cases, we've been the pioneer in those communities. And again, I'm not in the business of magazines, websites, events. I'm in the business of creating content and taking that content to audiences. So, that's how I define my business. There is a brand business world, there is content, there is audiences. Whether it's a magazine format, text format online, audio format online, video format, whether it's the content at our conferences, everything is an editorial product. That's how I see our business.
Sir, you have been very vocal about two words, strategy and serendipity. I'll come back to that later since we are speaking on content. सोशल मीडिया का एक राइज हुआ था पोस्ट 2008 and 9. Before that, there was legacy media who used to have a monopoly over what people consume. It can be newspapers, magazines, television. फिर एक पूरी बाढ़ आई, यूट्यूब, इंस्टाग्राम, फेसबुक, व्हाट्सएप, टेलीग्राम एंड नंबर ऑफ थिंग्स. आपने लेगेसी मीडिया का दौर भी देखा है, आपने सोशल मीडिया का राइज भी देखा है. डू यू थिंक कहीं ना कहीं एक जो एलीट कैप्चर था वो टूटा एंड देयर वाज डेमोक्रेटाइजेशन ऑफ कंटेंट क्रिएशन पोस्ट सोशल मीडिया?
See, I'll frame it differently a little bit. First of all, there is democratization of content, yes. And that's a welcome thing. But social media is a distribution platform. It is not content. Let me make that distinction. We create content. You create content. We may not be the social media platforms distributing it. So the role of a content creator stays. Second, can I tell you, all the content creators love to be on mainstream media brands. I can tell you that being in the thick of things, all, okay? So there is a certain charm of media because you've grown up, there is a subconscious or conscious desire. You heard those brands, you've seen, big industrialists, founders, entrepreneurs on those, whether business brands or, other content brand. So I think there is a role for both. Also, both are learning from each other. Today, nothing stops. I mean, the interview format is the podcast format, right? Yes, the amount of marketing individuals put into it, they're very good at marketing. I think media companies rely mostly on content having its own steam. So I think there is space for both. Yes, traditional media or mainstream media or old media brands have to learn the new tricks of the game and have to play the game in that way. Podcasts have to go mainstream. They have become mainstream. Media platforms have to encourage their editors, journalists to do podcasts. I think it's very easy. But the ability to be able to create content, get audiences, and monetize content either through subscription or through advertising is the business model that even content creators are using. So lines between what is a media platform, an individual is equally a media platform if he or she has 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5, 10 million, subscribers or viewers or people who come to the platform regularly, then he or she is also equally a media platform.
Sir, you very frequently use the word war of narratives. In the age of social media, we have misinformation, disinformation, and overdose of information.
100%.
So fake news, non-news, it ventures into something very dangerous many a times. compromising national security and other stuff. So, as a person who has been into media domain for the last 30 years,
25 years.
25 plus years, how do you think a common user, let's say a person at the age of 25, he or she should believe what's true, what's not true?
See, today, actually you have much more access to information, more access to tools. You also have tools which will tell you what is fake news. They're fact checkers. So, young people know that, and young people know what to consume, what not. However, the reason I keep saying war of narrative is the social media is such a, the nature of the beast is such that any piece of news, accurate, inaccurate, just flies up and through the WhatsApp, it spreads. Forwarding doesn't take any effort, and it's a human nature to share. So that creates its own issues. It creates riots. It creates fear. It also helps in some cases, right? But the reason I keep saying war of narratives is whether it comes to companies, countries, political leaders, governments, founders of business, the one who has the control over narratives and one who puts out his or her narrative there first and gets it out fast controls the narrative, right? A narrative is pushed not just through traditional news, it's pushed through cinema, it's pushed through radio, it's pushed through what you see in mainstream media, what you see in influencers' content, in the creator economy. So today, let's take the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Let me ask you, who's wrong here?
Right and wrong are very subjective words.
Right. There are things of gray.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is there is a certain narrative that the West has about Russia.
True.
Right? It may be true, it may not be true, it may be partly true. Okay, let's look at something else. Let's look at the war between Israel and the extremists. Okay, what's happening in Palestine, what's happening in Gaza. Clearly children are dying. But let me tell you, as a child watching Doordarshan, I always saw, Israel as an aggressor. Because I saw Indira Gandhi hugging Yasir Arafat.
Yeah.
Right? So I was young. So those are the images that stayed in my mind. Till I visited Israel 15 years back. And I realized I heard their part of the story. And why they are like how they are. So whatever I saw in media when I was younger, I was possibly 10, 12 years young. That stayed in my mind. Today, a young person who's 15 years old, 18 years old, is constantly bombarded by WhatsApp messages, by what he or she sees on his friend's social media feed, whatever social media platform they're using. He or she is always doing search. You meet someone and they search instantly. They want to order something, they search. I mean, I have 2 children. I keep seeing. I also behave like that sometimes. So what is there online matters more what is there in real life. Or at least matters equally. So what I'm trying to say is that there is limited space in your brain. The notions that come to you fast and first sometimes tend to stick. Sometimes they don't as new information comes to the fore. So leaders, companies, countries are spending disproportionate resources to win this war of narrative. I mean, Russia, look at what Russia today did 15 months back. They planted stories across the world, right? There is rise of nationalistic media. There's rise of state-owned media. Today, Russia today wants to be like CNN. Like CNN is not state-owned, it's privately owned, but it's point of view of the Americans. It's the view of the world through the eyes of Americans. If you look at BBC, it's the world through the eyes of Europeans. Or it is, let me say, more centrist, more balanced, right? So Russia wants to give another contrarian viewpoint. And that's why you see Russia Today all over. It also has, now Russia Today is in India also in a full-fledged way.
Right.
So the war of narrative is very important. And, being where the audiences are on social media, they are the new pups, so to say. People are congregating there, people are talking there, people are on X, people are on other platform. So getting your viewpoint there is very important. And that's what I keep saying, their war of narratives. In older days, we would have experts who were nuanced about a certain things. Let's say Brahma Chalani till today is an expert on defense, right? While people like me go to experts, today there are so-called experts who are influencers, who are experts on everything without having experienced anything. But because they have a share of voice, what they say has a certain value. And some of them actually bring a contrarian viewpoint. It is right, wrong, that's a matter of debate. But I must say, you talked about national security, national interest. In issues like national security, in issues that have strategic importance to the country, I think we should speak in one voice. I mean, we are a democratic country, multiplicity of voices is welcome. But on those issues, on sensitive issues, and I think there is a certain sensitivity from mainstream media on those issues, without derelicting its duty to bring out the facts and truth. I think there should be sensitivity, and there is sensitivity, and that is nothing wrong. Only in that area. Rest, multiple viewpoints should be welcome. They must be debated, and people must have a right to know everything.
सर, दो चीज़ जेनेरिक मीडिया के बारे में, देन आई स्पेसिफिकली कम टू द कॉर्पोरेट डोमेन. दो वर्ड्स बहुत फ्रीक्वेंटली यूज़ होते हैं, लटियंस मीडिया, फिर वहाँ से एक रिवर्सल आया गोदी मीडिया. डू यू हैव एनी टेक ऑन दैट?
See, I know the whole spectrum of media. I know all the players. As I said, I don't believe in labels. Labels tend to paint everybody in, and everybody is unique. Labels help in identifying, but in this case, it's a misnomer. I mean, people who are in Delhi or in the Lutyens zone are not necessarily bad media. And people who are Godi media, I mean, it's again easy to kind of paint everyone as Godi media. I think it's a over simplification and over generalization. I don't believe in both. But as I said, labels stick, convenient things stick. And anything you say which is shocking and negative tends to stick faster than anything that is more palatable, balanced, or honest. So if you were sensational, Lutyens media. I mean, the people used to say Lutyens media are now in Delhi without taking the name, because they got sops from the government and free land. So they came to Delhi and set up, so let's not, it's very easy to be able to put labels. So, and as far as Godi media is, the government has done a lot of things right. If to be able to highlight that as Godi media, it's okay. And there's too much of competition between media players, between individuals, the people business, between anchors, between. So, the ones that are, for whatever reasons, on the different side of the ideology, see others as wrong. But I think the truth is somewhere in between. Yes, the Indian media can be more forthcoming, honest in the way we portray reality. We can be. I'll say that, right? But to say that we don't do our job or we are Godi media, that's not true. Also, they say you get the media that you deserve. If people are more interested in a certain actress passing through a certain airport and it gets millions of views. Today, last 2 months should have been only about one thing: the quality of air in Delhi, where you and me live. If the quality of air is not the biggest health issue, then what is? Is it less than corona? It impacts us every year, and the long-term effects of breathing this kind of air on old people, on me, on children, they're long-term. The impact on the eyes, the impact on lungs. And the two things matter. One is the gut, the other is the breath. If if your breath is not okay, because what is the point? So, yes, we can focus and we can be a little activist in making certain things happen. And, media is trying to find solutions through brainstorming. But I don't believe in extreme labels. They have existed in every era. This keep happening. Media people and media professionals, media organizations are going about doing their job in a very difficult environment. No government, not just this government, no government wants 100% honesty from media. No entrepreneurs, entrenched business interests want 100% honesty from media. No bureaucrats or policymakers want 100% honesty from media. I'm not sure even the society would feel comfortable seeing all the negative aspects of the society, right? The media people have not come from elsewhere. They're normal people. They're like you, me, right? So I'm just saying that, yes, we can do a better job, but to be able to label media as if it has no contribution, I think is ignoring the contribution of Indian media to what it has been doing over the last many, many years. Of course, the environment has changed. Of course, let me say that the scope of reporting on political issues has narrowed down. I hope that changes someday, right? But there are lots of issues to focus on, right? I mean, look at what has happened on Anavlis, right? We're shooting this 1 week after that. Media has played its role, right? And it has galvanized the government into action. I think people are too busy. So sometimes media also needs to take up an issue and kind of reinforce it till there is some action. We can do that better, and we're trying to do that.
ट्रू सर. सिनेमा मीडिया मैं पर्सनली मानता हूँ वो समाज का आईना होते हैं. जो समाज देखना चाहता है वो लोग वही दिखाते हैं. इमरजेंसी का भी समय था. देयर वाज दिस न्यूज़पेपर इंडियन एक्सप्रेस, प्रॉब्ली हेडेड बाय रामनाथ गोयनका एट दैट टाइम. उनका टैगलाइन भी है स्पीकिंग ट्रूथ टू द पावर. वो न्यूज़पेपर नहीं झुका उस समय. दे रिपोर्टेड. टू लुक थिंग्स फ्रॉम द मीडिया पर्सपेक्टिव, एक ना इनहेरेंट कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट है या रेवेन्यू मॉडल की प्रॉब्लम है. अगर टीआरपी नहीं आएगी तो पैसा नहीं आएगा. टीआरपी आएगी हिंदू मुसलमान करके. टीआरपी आएगी जैसे आपने बोला बॉलीवुड सेलिब्रिटीज, एक्टर्स और एक्ट्रेसेस को फॉलो करके. टीआरपी आएगी कोई भी वायरल चीज को दिखा के. अगर जनता के मुद्दे दिखाए जाते हैं, एयर क्वालिटी, नदी में पानी साफ नहीं है, जंगल कट रहे हैं, या कहीं पे भुखमरी है, गरीबी है,
मेंटल हेल्थ इज सच अ बिग इशू.
मेंटल हेल्थ, तो लोग देखेंगे नहीं. वो तो पैसा कहाँ से आएगा, चैनल शट डाउन हो जाएगा, या जो भी है. सो हाउ डू यू रिकंसाइल दीज टू कॉन्ट्रास्टिंग थिंग्स?
ऐसा है कि आई कैन फ्लिप इट. If you start paying for the content you watch, which means you pay subscription fee, the media will not be dependent on advertising. But we don't. The second thing is, I would say that there are players that bring such issues. Media does highlight these issues. Fourth, I'd like to say that in any domain, if you're an actor, you want your performance to be seen by most people. If you're a movie, you want the movie to be seen by most people. If you write a poem, you're a poet, you want your poem to be read by most people. So having a target of getting your viewership up because you have certain content is not wrong. And to blame TRPs for everything is not. Structurally, specifically if you take the news media, structurally the news media has been weakened over the last 2 decades. Everything is stacked up against it. Plus, one thing, Ishaan, you have to know is, let me ask you, what do you think is the size of advertising in India? And what is the size of advertising globally? So just to give you an idea, almost $1.1 trillion is spent in advertising globally. उसमें से डिजिटल में कितना खर्च होता है ईशान?
I think it should be around 50 now.
About $670 billion, almost $700 billion डिजिटल में खर्च होते हैं. और $400 billion न्यूज़पेपर्स, मैगजीन्स, रेडियो, आउटडोर, बिलबोर्ड, सब. ठीक है. ये 700 में से 2 प्लेयर हैं जिनको 370-80 बिलियन डॉलर चला जाता है.
Google and Meta.
ठीक है. बाकी सबके पास आता है क्या है? ठीक है. तो हम उस चीज को तो देख ही नहीं रहे. राइट. द फैक्ट इज दीज 2 पीपल हैव अ duopoly. Everything is going to them. 40% of money being spent in those 35-36% is going to 2 players. 2 players. And there is this book on one of these companies. It's called Careless People. It's written by a former policy head at one of these companies. Read that. It basically says they only care about one thing, which is moolah.
Which is?
Moolah, money.
Oh, moolah.
Right. They don't care about what our children are watching, what is the impact of social media on children. They are doing tangos with dictators across the world, with oligarchs, with dangerous regimes, helping them stay in power by spreading this misinformation. So I think we in the media are still doing a good job. These distribution platforms who spread hate, who spread misinformation, who spread algorithmic disinformation, I think they must be censored. They must be broken down. They will have disproportionate power. They already have disproportionate money, disproportionate power. Nobody's talking about it. They're just growing bigger and bigger and bigger.
Sir, last to last US presidential campaign, I remember there was one candidate, Bernie Sanders. He was in the race from the Democratic side.
Yes.
And one of his agenda point was, if I'm nominated and elected, I'll break down Google, Meta into different companies. Are you pointing towards that thing?
Yeah,
Are you in
just
favor
look
of
at,
that?
just look, see, I'm not an expert on that, so I will, but the fact is the influence and power of these 2 giants is huge. Look at the amount of money they're sitting on. More than money, the ability to be able to peddle a certain narrative. So again, you can say the advertiser ecosystem should have, they spend so much money, they should have influence. But brands and business are interested in reaching out to maximum people, evangelizing their businesses and brands. It's a complex problem, but I think they're getting stronger and stronger. And it's a very worrying trend. Now there is Gen AI companies that are scraping our content without our consent. Plus, without any contribution to us, we spend so much time, money, energy, and effort in creating that content. So there are complex issues. We are living in a very, very complex world. I mean, 10 years back, we would say VUCA. And then COVID came and VUCA became a reality. These days, it's even more complex word than VUCA. So these are issues that one should think about. And to blame the media for everything that's wrong in the world, that's not true, right? And, there are leaders in the world, they're getting dwarfer. The president of the largest or the most powerful country in the world is not behaving like a statement. Is not behaving like somebody who has to maximize human good.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be maximizing human profit. If the role model of young people is Elon Musk, I mean, Elon is a creative person. He's built such a big enterprise. But is that the value system one wants to inherit? Where there is lack of compassion, there's lack of empathy, there's lack of morals. So I don't know. I mean, it's a world because I have children, and maybe because I've crossed 50, I tend to think about these things. I was too busy working. So these are things I think about. It's a very, very different world than I grew up. Social media is one reason, advanced technology is another, pursuit of money is another, pursuit of power is another, the rise of the individual is another. The access to everything is so easy. That's why relationships are breaking, because you can access more relationships through a phone or social media. I mean, I love the work that quick commerce companies do, but food delivery and quick commerce companies are saying you can order food at 2 a.m. and eat so much. I love content companies, but OTT platforms are saying that you can binge watch whole night and not sleep. So again, you could say these are tools. It's up to an individual to use his or her faculties, to use those in a moderate in the right way. But the fact is, there is abundance, which is also creating lack of value.
Do you think too many choices
100%.
is leading us to an anarchical situation?
Yeah, it is leading us to where we want everything, but we value less. I genuinely feel that. Earlier, you would genuinely welcome and treasure your relationships. I read this article. A business school friend of mine, he's 2 batches junior to me, Riteshwara Sen, is about the pandemic of friendship. That people are not really meeting their real friends more often as they used to.
Mm-hmm.
Then is the issue of mental health. Officially, 15% of Indians suffer from mental health issues. Unofficially, this may be as high as 30-40%. I'm not talking of young people, because there's strife in families. They're dealing with issues that were never foreseen. There's strife in partnerships, in business. I mean, we become insensitive. So many people are dying in Gaza. What happened in Manipur? We were too busy building our businesses. We are not thinking it'll ever impact us.
सर हेयर एक्चुअली ये मेरे को बाद में पूछना था, बट क्योंकि कॉन्वर्सेशन उसी डोमेन में जा रही है, do you think that's where the differentiation between a businessman and an industrialist comes?
या पता नहीं है, देखिए ये सब टैग सारा दिन, मैं ना टैग्स में बहुत ज़्यादा बिलीव नहीं करता हूँ. वो मेरी टीम ने मेरी प्रोफाइल लिखी, अभी जाके चेंज करने वाला हूँ मैं. सी, of course I can give you an answer on that. A businessman, industrialist, somebody, he meant industrialist as Tatas, Birlas, the Ambanis, now the Adanis. A businessman is relatively smaller. I mean, you talk of businessman as if he's a bean counter. He's only interested in making money, but that's not true. I mean, I think we did our Business World Social Impact Summit yesterday. The purpose of all businesses is to make social impact. Why should the social impact businesses be different? Traditionally, business people, the Birlas, the Jaipurias, they built dharmshalas, they built educational institutions, they built hospitals, so they built healthcare, they built education, they built access to religious places. They did philanthropy and CSR without a CSR law. They saw it as core of who they were, right? They would give charity without anyone knowing. And those institutions benefit people even today. So, and I'm saying there are young people like Nitin Kamath, they're trying to give back what they've got. So, I think we should leave the old labels. It's a new world. It needs a new terminology. It needs a new way to look at what's happening. and we must discard these distinctions, right? It's an old way of seeing the world. Though you can always argue, as Morgan Housel says, the more of same. The more the world changes, the more
Or
it
it
is
remains the
same.
same.
Yeah, the fundamentals remain the same. What humans need remain the same. Greed remains the same. So I know. So we can keep kind of discussing this theoretically, but the best way is to make a difference. You're doing conversations. If people who watch conversations, if they get one thought that can galvanize them into action to contribute positively, you contributed. I run a media company. Sometimes people say, "Oh, you do so many awards," and I'm not on the back foot on that. I have met people who won awards, and it has enthused them, and they've gone on to do better work. Encouraging people who are doing good work through the right process, through a right platform, to the right jury. So it's a world which is hugely polarized. Everyone has a point of view on everyone without knowing enough. So it's a strange world.
Speaking on media, एक revenue problem है, which basically comes from the inherent conflict of interest in the model. What I can gather from your thought process, you are in favor of subscription-based media content consumption. Am I right?
100%.
Okay. The second option is the corporatization of media.
Of ownership of media.
Ownership of media, yes. Because big businesses, they are acquiring different things, and we are seeing a consolidation. There is a term called as Chinese wall. कि आप ओनरशिप सेपरेट रखिए, आप एडिटोरियल मैनेजमेंट सेपरेट
ऐसा होता नहीं है. I mean, I'd hate to say ऐसा होता नहीं है. ऐसा होता नहीं है, ये कहने के लिए. It's a good concept. It doesn't work in reality. Sorry, I'm saying this I could have been very, very, it doesn't happen. Do you think the corporate interests are buying media products which cost them 2,000, 4,000, 6,000 crores? Every year they're pumping 600 crores of loss, 300 crores of loss funding. Do you think they're doing it only because, I'm sure they're part of the society, they want to contribute, but they also want to influence policy. They also want to have control over narratives. That's the truth. Anybody tells you anything, that's not right. And there I say, the media platforms that are not owned by corporate possibly do a better job in being honest. Possibly. I'm sure there are occasional flashes of brilliance, and over a period of time, we'll know some of the ownership of media is new. Over a period of time, we'll know how they fare. But clearly, the business houses owning media platform and media companies, it's in their interest to let the product shine on its own, but they do influence it at the editorial policy, whatever. They may operate arm's length, they may operate through governance. It's difficult. Do you think a media product will be objective if there is a crisis on the owner of one of the media companies? Do you really expect that to happen? Or it will be objective on its rival? The recent past has shown no.
Coming back to a line मैंने 6th class में पढ़ी थी, people are sheep, media is the shepherd. Is it right?
देखिए ऐसा है, I read when I was younger, I don't know which class, but young, maybe 5th class, 4th, 3rd. Religion is the opium of masses. Right? Karl Marx said it. Things that bind people together. I said, I think today the biggest challenge is employability. Young people need more jobs. They need to be gainfully employed. What is important is to create this harmony and keep the social fabric of the society intact. And third is the mental health issues of young people. I think these are, in my view, the three most important things. Of course, cleanliness is important, health is important at a national level, and both at a business level. Our AI capabilities are very important. We are building a digital public infrastructure to the next level, having led the world in building the digital public infrastructure. The government is doing a deep tech mission by incubating deep tech companies. And because it's a very progressive government, there are lots of things this government is doing right. Right? And it's doing it in a very complex environment. Imagine the way we've dealt with a new president in the most powerful country in the world. And we also have to balance our relationships with China. We can't be at war with them, right? We can't be always adversarial. So you have to have a relationship and also be very confident and very cautious. So I think the government has done a good job. And it is, there are critics who will always keep criticizing the government, whatever the government must do. But we have Bangladesh, which is clearly funded by the Americans. I mean, we can't prove it. No one can prove it. But, we are dealing with that. There's a regime change in Sri Lanka that has happened. There's a regime change in Bangladesh. There is a very aggressive regime in Pakistan. We have China. We have an American president who's so unpredictable. I think the Indian government has balanced a lot of things. It's always easy for a person who's not doing something to criticize somebody who's doing and say, this could have happened, this. So let me not go into all that. But since you said, people are sheep and let media is the shepherd, I talked about the war of narratives. Today, the narratives are not only set by mainstream media, they're set through bloggers, through influencers, through cultural platforms, through movies. So, don't blame media for everything, right? If you pay for your newspaper, possibly the dependence on advertising on the newspaper will come down. If you pay for the website that you subscribe, maybe you pay 500 rupees a month, their dependence on advertising will come down. So I think the business model has to change. Will it change? Maybe. It has to change. And people will pay for more content which is more honest. To be in media is not just to make money. We are not here just to make money. Yes, if you run a company or to be profitable, you have to look after your colleagues, you have to pay salaries, you have to invest in technology. But we are also here to make a change, to make an impact. And most media owners, editors, professionals think like that. That I must tell you. They operate in constraints. So in whatever constraints they can maximize what they have to do, they're doing it. Right? We can be idealist, and it's a good thing. We must be idealist to start with. But at the same time, as you are in play, you realize what the constraints are, and you maximize your impact in those constraints.
थोड़ा सा सर कॉन्वर्सेशन को लाइट करते हैं. आप अपनी एजुकेशनल जर्नी बताइए.
देखिए, एजुकेशनल जर्नी इसमें लाइट तो नहीं है, हैवी है एजुकेशनल जर्नी. मैंने बीटेक किया है, वो भी बियर ड्रिंकिंग में नहीं, कंप्यूटर साइंस में किया. सॉरी. ऐसा मैं अपने बच्चों को बता रहा था एक दिन की they were asking me, so I told them that I did in beer drinking, but jokes apart, I don't drink anymore. But yes, I did. I grew up in Old Gurgaon. I went to a school called Our Lady of Fatima Convent High School, which is a lovely school. And I met an actress yesterday at my Social Impact Award. She is a UNDP ambassador. So I was telling her, she was asking me, so you grew up in Delhi? And so I said, no, I only live in Delhi for 23 years. And before that, I was in Old Gurgaon, but I would visit Delhi every month because my Masi, Mama all live here. And I went to the school. Then I told her there are some famous people. Since she was from the Bollywood, she's a Delhi person who's an actress. I told her Mohit Chaudhary, he's Chamkila, he's Imtiaz Ali's partner. I said he was my 1 year junior. I told her some other famous people who went to that school. So I went there till 10th. My school was till 10th when I was studying. It's in New Colony in Old Gurgaon. My father was at the government college in Gurgaon. My mother was at the SCRT in Gurgaon. And I grew up in a middle-class family. Then 11th, 12th, my school was so most of my friends came to TPS, Pal Bharti, girls went to Mount St. Carmel, other. So I didn't get enough marks. I got 72.6 if my memory serves me right. I think the topper got 78. So I was 13th in the class. So my parents put me in a government college in Gurgaon. It's called Dronacharya Government College, Gurgaon, which is quite a culture shock with me because I went to a convent school. But I was so paranoid that I topped the Haryana board in 11th and 12th. Then I got through into engineering, and my parents told me कि बस इंजीनियरिंग में हो जाएगा, उसके बाद पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. तो जब मेरा इंजीनियरिंग में हो गया तो मैंने अपने माँ बाप की
लाज रख ली,
इज्जत इस बात को बहुत सीरियसली ले लिया. तो मैंने पढ़ना लिखना थोड़ा बंद कर दिया. So second, third year I was having more fun. But by the fourth year I was again back to studying. And my father brought my MDI form. I grew up near MDI, so I filled the form. I got through to MDI. And let me say, in first year in MDI, there was no CAT, so I've never filled in a CAT form. I got through to MDI, and that's why I keep saying it's important to be lucky than to be smart. Though I also say the harder you work, the luckier you get. But yes, luck is more important than anything else. We don't know what our luck is, so we got to work hard. But thanks to my dad getting my form, I got through into MDI. At MDI, I got a campus job at Mastech, which is an IT services company, because I'd done BTech Computer Sciences. I didn't join Mastech. I joined Collier's Jardine, and I met a gentleman called David Fowler, who I'm told 2 years back has gone to heaven. And David bought me a few beers. I was young and impressionable. He talked me into joining Collier's, and I went home and I told my dad I will not join Mastech. I'll join Collier's Jardine. So he asked me, Collier's Jardine kya hai? I said, well, it's a real estate consulting firm, research, broking. तो मेरे पिताजी ने broking की बात को पकड़ लिया और बोले अगर दलाली करनी थी इतनी पढ़ने लिखने की बात क्या है. So I grew up in that and I joined. Then I joined HTA. In between I joined AMF bowling. So in HTA, me and a friend of mine who's my batchmate at NDI, we realized that the process of media planning and buying is very inefficient. That's how we thought of Exchange for Media. I quit my job. I tried to raise capital, raise some angel capital, started Exchange for Media. First 3.5 years, we struggled with building the marketplace because we were very young, less than 29 years old. I was 28 and a half. And we didn't succeed. We started a newsletter, which has now become the homepage of everybody in marketing, advertising, media, communication. We built a media company, acquired another. And this is what I do. This has been my journey.
Sir, you spoke of MDI. आपने वहाँ से पढ़ाई करी. Then later on, you went on to become one of the board governors.
Yeah, it is one of the happiest days in my life.
Yeah.
I will not forget that date. And sorry, I'm thinking about my mom. So it was 12th Jan 2020. I was in Gurgaon in a co-working space. We were working from and the letter came to my home. I think my wife opened it, and she doesn't open my letters, but I told her it's from MD. I opened it. So she opened and said, "You're on the board. There's a letter which says you've been appointed on the board of MDI." So I said to her that, can you send it where I am? So I got it to Gurgaon, wherever I was. I was in this co-working space, Mohit, I tell you, the Spring Works. When I got the letter, I think it was 7:30, I went to my parents' home, which is in Gurgaon. And I touched both feet, and they were very, very happy. Because my father talked about the day he took me to MDI. I remember when I'd gone for the interview, my mother used to work in SCRT, so she used to come at 5:30. So my dad had gone. And then my mother had come and asked my dad, so, how did he do? And my dad gave a positive feedback that he did very well. He was looking good. And he said it in Punjabi. Right. So, I remembered that, and I stayed on the board for 3.5 years till June 2023. And, again, as I said, if you put out requests in the universe, they happen.
Sir, क्या बोला था पंजाबी में?
I'll tell you, till 7th March 2017 or 2018, I'm not sure, because I'm the chairman of the MDI alumni. Dr. Himadri Das was appointed a director of MDI. So I went to meet him. So he said, "Anurag, तुमको तो बोर्ड पे होना चाहिए." तो मैंने बोला, कैसे, मैं क्यों? तो बोले, नहीं, you are this, that. So I believe whatever he told me. And that's how I set out a thought, and then I worked towards it. I'll not go on those details on the podcast. And it's funny, if this thought was put in my mind in 2010, 11, I would have got on the board because the guy who used to decide was my buddy, right? And I genuinely believe I can add value. Last 12, 14 months, I haven't been very active in the MDI alumni. My mother passed away on 25th October last year. I didn't go for the alumni meet. And I haven't gone to MDI for a while. I went once for some event. I want to still do a lot for MDI alumni, but I will hopefully in 2026 and 27. So it is something that is very close to my heart. I don't need a formal position to do something. But again, I've thrown something in the universe, and hopefully it'll happen.
Sir, you have been very vocal about the concept of mentoring, and you appreciate reverse mentoring equally. गुरु शिष्य से सीखता है, शिष्य गुरु को सिखाता है. Would you like to elaborate on that?
देखो, ऐसा है कि I always like meeting interesting people, and interesting is not rich, it is not famous, it's not necessarily people who build companies. Interesting people are doing work which impacts people's lives. That's how I define. It can be a podcaster, it can be a civil servant, it can be a police officer, it can be a person like Deepika that we were talking, who runs the Ekam Nyay Foundation. It can be the work that Sonu Sood is doing. It can be. So in 2011, I met this young boy called Ashish Birgi. He runs MASH. I was at an event and he came up to me and said, "Oh, you are Annurag Batra?" I said, "Yes." At that time, like, okay. You write that column in Entrepreneur and magazine or Dare. I used to write for both. I said, "Yes." I read your column. Okay, very good. And then he became my friend. I think he was 18 or 19 at that age. He's 34. He turned 34 on 23rd. So I met him. So, I would learn so much from him, Then I had a boss in HTA who was the head of media. His name is Sanjoy Chakraborty. So he introduced me to his son about 17, 18 years back, Samyak Chakraborty, both similar. Now they would come to me for ideation, this, that, but actually I would learn a lot more from them because the way they think, the way, they both are less than 35, around 35. So clearly they are like, 18, 19 years younger to me, and, they think differently. So young people do think differently. I said, as much as they can learn from our mentorship on certain experiences that we have, the worldview we have, we can also learn from a worldview that they bring. And that's how I said everyone should have a reverse mentor, a younger person who's different than you. And I genuinely believe mentoring can be formal, informal. And they're among my close friends, I went to, Samik is not married, but Birgi got married 2 years back. I went to his wedding. I keep in touch with me. He keeps in touch with me. Samyak, I'm in touch, of course, So, subconsciously you learn from people you meet. But I'm talking of in a formal way.
सर, एक्सचेंज फॉर मीडिया का डिटेल में बाद में बात करेंगे. आई वुड लाइक टू नो योर एंटरप्रेन्योरियल जर्नी इन दैट. हार्ड वर्क होता है, बहुत कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स होते हैं, पर्सनल लाइफ कई बार कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ होती है, पैसा नहीं होता है. आपके वो पैसे वाले इंसिडेंट पे भी मैं आऊँगा. थोड़ा सा एक वो जर्नी बताइए अपनी
देखिए,
एंटरप्रेन्योर.
एक्सचेंज फॉर मीडिया वाज रिलेटिवली इजी. बहुत आसानी से हुआ, भगवान की बहुत कृपा से हुआ. आई बिलीव अ लॉट इन गॉड and my parents, blessings. I really believe whatever I've achieved, and I keep saying that we get what we want, not just because of hard work, because of the good work, sukarma that our parents have done, our grandparents have done. We reap the benefits of that. I genuinely believe that because I feel I'm a very ordinary person who's done okay, So it has happened because of my parents, maybe because of my wife's good luck, So exchange for media relatively easy था. बिकॉज एक नई कंपनी स्टार्ट की तो वहाँ कल्चर बहुत ऐसा था कि अभी भी ऐसा है कि कुछ करना है तो 5 मिनट में हो जाता है. So we started it, 3 of us started it, now we are 2. One person has moved on. In that, शुरू में वो भी अच्छा नहीं लगता था, दोस्ती, but ठीक है, he's doing well. So we had started to build something else, and we ran out of money also, because हमने 68 लाख रुपए रेज किए थे एंजल, और पहले 3 साल में वो खत्म हो गए और वो बन भी नहीं रहा था. इनफैक्ट 2000 में मैंने वेंचर स्टार्ट किया, 2001 में शादी की, मैं हनीमून पे गया था, तो मेरे 2 पार्टनर्स ने किसी और को एक्स्ट्रा 9% इक्विटी प्रॉमिस कर दी कि आप हमारे लिए ये करोगे. वो बाद में उसका काफ़ी भुगतना पड़ा 16 साल, बट ठीक है, इट ऑल वर्कड आउट. एंड I think in entrepreneurship, if you are asking me what matters in life, the law of adding up, the law of compounding. Up, you make progress. Consistency matters. रोज काम करेंगे और लगे रहेंगे और साइड डायरेक्शन में लगे रहेंगे, और if you need to change, you change. You want a certain outcome. You got to be at it. So the power of compounding, the power of consistency, the power of being in the play, being action oriented, power of believing in the fact that it'll work out, power of listening to the market, the power of friendships, the power of collaboration, the power of relationships. At least this is what I'd say. And rest is, honestly, I believe, a lot in luck. तो ईश्वर जो चाहता है वो कर देता है आसानी से. मतलब आप उसको बोलो मैंने मेहनत की, ये किया, वो सब theoretical, conceptual, logical thing है. But if God wants something to happen, He will conspire to make it happen, like He's conspired to make my podcast happen. I've told you the story, right? So God helped. So Exchange for Media का पहले original business model था B2B marketplace, then became a media place, and then this is what we do.
You invest in a lot of companies,
Not a lot of
startups.
companies. I've invested only 6, not a lot. Again, not a lot. 6 in 10 years is not a lot.
So
Actually 7. 6-7.
So प्रपोजल्स बहुत सारे आते होंगे.
अब मैं पहले आते थे, अब मैं उस तरफ जाता ही नहीं जहाँ मेरे को करना ही नहीं. मेरा इन्वेस्टिंग का भी बहुत खत्म हो चुका है. मैं बताऊँ क्यों? कि अभी आई हैव नॉट exited my companies. I'm not. If you can invest in a company at a very early stage and back it as it grows, then when you can really contribute to that company. I think I'm too used to building companies. So, luckily 2-3 of my bets are gone okay. Thanks to God. Looks like they're gone okay.
2 or 3 out of 7.
Yes.
They're
One. Actually, I've done 6 only because so one of them is shut down. One has changed the business model. 5 are doing okay. 2 of them doing very exceptionally well. I haven't had any exits, and you become an investor by exits, not by investing.
Right.
पैसे लगाना तो सबसे आसान काम है, उसमें कब एग्जिट मिलेगा. ठीक है. तो मेरा ना शुरू में बुखार होता है सबको कि ये करना है ऐसे, अभी आई रियलाइज दैट आई एंजॉय द प्रोसेस ऑफ बिल्डिंग अ कंपनी. तो मेरे को वही करना है. और अगर इन्वेस्टर बनना है, यू हैव टू हैव सो मच मनी दैट यू कैन इन्वेस्ट इन early stage and Series A, Series B, Series D. Because entrepreneurs don't just value your skills. Like in certain areas, I can help them go to market like nobody can. I can help in branding. I can help in access, strategic relationships, mentoring in a true sense. That ये ठीक नहीं है, इस बंदे से partner नहीं करो. In my one investee company, in 2 particular cases, I told them, don't, I tell them they're young, they're about 35. They come to me. I have a point of view if I know the person. But I tell them, you go and meet, then we'll exchange notes. Because I realize जब उनको खुद को अनुभूति होती है ना, क्योंकि मैं उनको प्रेजुडिस करके क्यों भेजूं पहले कि बहुत अच्छा है या अच्छा नहीं है या हमारे लिए अच्छा नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं, कोई बुरा आदमी, but what we want at this stage, does this person bring that? तो इन 2 केसेस में मेरे पास आए, मेरा बहुत डेफिनेटिव व्यू पॉइंट था, बिल्कुल ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट, नो शेड ऑफ ग्रे. And once they went and they came, I told. But in one case, they actually went ahead, and whatever I told them came true. So there is a certain value of advice.
So I should call you angel investor or investor?
कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। अभी मैंने आपको बोला, मुझे ना पड़ता था 5-10 साल पहले, लेबल से फर्क पड़ता था। ये अभी क्या, अभी काम करना है यार, अभी वो करना है जिससे एक लास्टिंग इम्पैक्ट हो। The environment has changed, how to recast my companies, how to make more impact, how to deepen what we do. But I'm an angel investor, small amounts of money. And I keep saying money is the least important thing I bring to the table. What I bring beyond money is more important than, because the access that I bring in certain, if you're building a media tech company, I think I bring things to the table which are quite helpful. I bring relationships in any domain, right? I think those are more powerful than money. I will write you a check also. So I have a thesis, 3 important theses. One, I have to be the first investor after the founders.
Okay.
I have to be after them, I have to be the largest on the cap table. Second, I should be able to add value to their business. I should think, not just they thinking. And third is, because I believe what I bring beyond money is most important, that should be factored in a monetary way. If this thesis works out, but that was when अभी मैंने बोला I want to be focused in my own businesses.
सर कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी आती है, लेट्स से हाइपोथेटिकल केस,
Can I tell you, 6 के 6 ऐसी जगह से आई जो मैं कभी ढूंढने नहीं गया, ना वो मुझे इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए मिलने आया।
सेरेंडिपिटी।
मैं आपको स्टोरीज बता, जैसे एक वेबसाइट है which is like Hollywood Reporter, Variety, it's like number 3 on Comscore, it's called iwmbuzz.com. It's on entertainment content. When they started, they came and said, just lend me your name, we'll give you 10% equity. 3 साल बाद I put top dollars in it to take substantial equity. But I got to know them, I started liking them, they started liking me. And again, they came to me more for go-to market, not for money. But there are 2 founders, Siddharth and Franklin. My primary relationship with Siddharth, he's the driver of the business. And I think I enjoy talking to him and when he calls me if he has a problem or if he has an opportunity, I enjoy that. So I'm quite happy with that investment and it's in my domain. The second one is a coffee company called Beanley Coffee.
Okay.
The father of one of the founders, and we are friends and we work together. He just came to me for advice, and I used to drink a lot of coffee. I said, okay. And he said, AB, why don't you invest? Okay. I invested. I was the first investor. I brought in 3 more investors in the company. It's doing well. They just opened an outlet in Alaknanda there. Panchsheel, One Horizon, Nirvana, they've raised a very large round. So they're going to do well. So none of them came. I have invested in a company called Phantom. I went to a friend of mine, her son was getting married. And I was going to miss the marriage. I was having dinner at the Taj Vivanta with my friend who came. कि कल मैरिज हम दोनों चलेंगे. हम डिनर खा रहे थे चाइनीज. तो मैंने अपने, शी इज अ फिल्म मेकर, सविता, शी मेड घोसला का घोसला. तो मैंने अपने बच्चों को फ़ोन किया कि बेटा चलना, वहाँ फिल्म स्टार्ट होंगे. तो उन्हें पूछ के बताओ पापा कौन कौन आ रहा है. तो आई कॉल्ड सविता जी एंड सेड, कल शादी है ना, तो कौन कौन आ रहा है. बोले आज है शादी, अभी है. सो एक्चुअली वी एट आवर मील. We didn't eat the dessert. We only ate dessert at the wedding. And I was at the dessert counter and lady comes to me and says, Annurag Batra. I said, yeah. So I've been trying to get in touch for 1 year. What I'm building, only you can help. Because you know everyone in media. I said, okay, that's true. And I ended up investing in it. I mean, the company is not worked out in the way, but none of the investment happened in a scientific way. In fact, a lot of people have approached me after that, but as I said, I mean, I have to take a call on one investment in the media tech space today. You reminded me, I'll take a call. So ऐसे मैं अपने धंधे पे पूरा टाइम लगाता हूँ.
Speaking of building, कुछ बनाना. What I see, you like it or it's your core. You have built institutions rather than building brands. Why so? Because आज अगर आप किसी से पूछोगे, ब्रांड बहुत दूर की बात है, बंदा पहले बोलेगा मेरे को फेमस होना है, इन्फ्लुएंसर बनना है. Then comes the brand. An institution is at the topmost.
So I'll tell you, देखो, मैं सच्ची बात है, मैं धंधे पे फोकस करता हूँ. अगर धंधा अच्छा होगा, मैंने कभी नहीं सोचा मेरे को अपना नाम बनाना है. ऐसे थ्योरी में नहीं जाना चाहिए, बट आई कुड हैव डन अ पॉडकास्ट 10 years back. I know I have access through my platforms to almost everyone, but I didn't do it. I mean, I was too busy running my business, and it's similarly in exchange for media. I've never done a podcast. I'm starting one now. I've just completed 25 years of exchange for media, so I will interview 25 personalities that I believe are very important for our business and are the most successful, the most impactful personalities. So I always focus on the fundamentals. And I must say to people who are watching your podcast, अच्छा काम करो, famous वैसे ही हो जाओगे. Do impactful work. Media will find you. Everyone will find you. Focus on basics. Do the right things. Build the right things. And media business चलाना बिल्कुल आसान नहीं है. मतलब it's a all in business. It's a literally 15 घंटे तो दिन में काम करने का बिजनेस है. मैं नींद पे कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं करता, इसलिए मैं 15 घंटे बोल रहा हूँ. इट्स 24/7. इवन इफ यू हैव अ टीम, ऑल दैट, यू नो, इफ देयर इज अ स्टोरी, पीपल विल कॉल यू. पीपल इन एक्सचेंज फॉर मीडिया, आई डोंट रन इट डे टू डे, स्टिल कॉल मी. देयर इज अ गुड स्टोरी, बैड स्टोरी. मैं सैटरडे को अभी एक अपने बीवी बच्चों के साथ AR रहमान कॉन्सर्ट देखने गया, और वहाँ पे स्टेडियम में एयरटेल, मेरा फ़ोन नहीं चल रहा था, और मेरे को कोई फ़ोन कर रहा है, मैं फ़ोन नहीं उठा पा रहा हूँ. Right. Finally, I called that person from my phone. There was some story which a senior colleague done. I got it removed. So I couldn't, I'm watching a concert. Not the, right. So, and I rarely go out for these things, okay? I'm always working. That's the kind of person I am. Because I believe what I do is not work. Confucius said, make your hobby your profession. You don't have to work. I love reading, writing. It's a people-centric business. So, what I'm trying to do is, so, I always focused, I was also busy building my business. So, मैंने कभी सोचा ही नहीं. काम करते गए वो, अब now I think of, because it's become, and फिर मेरे को लगता है यार अभी क्या क्यों करना है, अभी तो सब कर रहे हैं. लेकिन I think the podcast is the old interview. I grew up watching CNN and BBC. I would never miss Hard Talk by Tim Sebastian. When I was younger, Tim and I went to a lady who used to run BBC in India, her wedding, and Tim Sebastian was there. मैंने तो उसको पकड़ लिया, 1-1.5 घंटा डिनर पे छोड़ा ही नहीं मैंने उसको. Right? I would watch Larry King live on CNN. Now every Sunday 8:30, I am in my home. These days I have it on my phone also, but earlier, but I still like watching it sitting in my living room, is Fareed Zakaria's GPS. So, the old interview format is the new podcasting. At the end of the day, how deep is the content? You talk about Joe Rogan's podcast. It's about the impact and the quality of content. So anyway, institution, समय बताएगा. I hope I am able to build institution that outlive with me, me. And, they run well for a long period of time.
So speaking of entrepreneurship, or let's say entrepreneurs, do you think कि इंडिया में जो entrepreneurs हैं और जो वेस्ट में हैं, दोनों में कोई डिफरेंस है?
अब कम हो रहा है, पहले था.
क्या था?
देखो, एक तो वेस्ट में ना बहुत सपोर्ट सिस्टम था पहले, प्राइवेट इक्विटी, वेंचर कैपिटल, इंक्यूबेटर्स, एक्सेलरेटर्स, इंडिया में नहीं थे. बट पिछले 20 साल में वो सब है. जब मैंने 25 साल पहले स्टार्ट किया तब स्टार्ट हो रहा था वो. बट आई वुड गिव क्रेडिट टू दिस गवर्नमेंट. It's very entrepreneurship friendly. It is also the narratives. This is a favorite book of mine, and maybe I'll gift you that. It's called The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch. And he says that experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. If the Prime Minister of the country, when he started Startup India, stands up and says, it's okay to fail, it changes the culture. So, abhi kya hai, there is, ultimately, you want to be like somebody. You look at icons, you look at success stories, you look at examples, you look at test cases. Now people have seen that the wealth creation is possible for first generation entrepreneurs, whether it's a Paytm, whether it's a Lenskart, whether it's companies that have not gone IPO, there are investors who've made money. Look at, Eternal or Zomato, such a large company created in the last 15 years. So I think today in India, you have culturally an acceptance of being an entrepreneur. I think that's the biggest thing. Also, because of India's position in the world, entrepreneurs have more confidence and more ambition. That has changed. And last but not the least is we would look down on wealth creation. I think we
Yeah, I
stopped
was
looking
coming to
down
that,
on
yeah.
wealth creation.
True, I was coming to that.
It's okay. You can create wealth and deploy it for good, and creating wealth through the right means is most welcome.
I remember one thing Ashneer Grover said, भारत में मंदिर में भी पैसा चढ़ता है, लेकिन अगर कोई तमीज से धंधा बनाए ना तो उसको भी गालियां पड़ती हैं.
सही बात है.
सो ये जो वेल्थ क्रिएशन को लेके एक नेगेटिव एटमॉस्फेयर है, व्हाई इज इट सो?
बिकॉज ऐसा है कि अगर आपने बिजनेस बनाया तो कुछ गलत किया ही होगा, कुछ कॉम्प्रोमाइज किया हो.
ये मेंटालिटी क्यों है?
ये
यूएस में
सुना
नहीं है,
है,
यूरोप
मतलब
में नहीं
that's
है.
how, ये cynicism था.
हाँ.
But most of the people who are creating wealth who are first generation have done it without a godfather. They've just done it on the self-belief and toil and hard work and lots of frustrations in the initial years. So I think that is changing. That is changing because a lot of entrepreneurs have shown that it's okay.
Do you think a lot of it comes from कि आज़ादी के बाद we adopted a mixed economy model and the private capital was looked
Yeah,
down
we
upon,
were socialist in our outlook.
socialistic outlook.
That
So,
possibly, yes.
and वही फिर टेक्स्ट बुक में then there were such draconian laws कि आदमी तमीज से धंधा बना ही नहीं सकता.
Yeah, so I think all that contributed, right? Our thought process was led by the environment, by the laws, the policies. I think all have changed. And the most important is we have role models. कि इसने करा है तो मैं भी कर सकता हूँ. एक अलीगढ़ का लड़का विजय शेखर शर्मा. I can give you examples of companies, And then you have media also has played a role in glamorizing entrepreneurship. Though sometimes I feel far too much. Entrepreneurship, there's a book that I read by Ben Horowitz called Hard Things About Hard Things. Entrepreneurship is hard. We sometimes have too much headlines on how much money is being raised or what is the success of an IPO. But every one such company, hundreds of companies are not successful. Even after raising capital. What is the longevity of companies? So I think also some of these entrepreneurs didn't start out to build large companies. They were solving a problem. They solved the problem so well that they became large enterprises. And the government has played its whole role as an enabler. It has not come in the way. And it has been a market maker. And let me explain this why I say, ये drone ले लो. The government has ensured that it incentivizes drone makers in India, manufacturers. The technology is Indian. We have Indian capabilities. Not only that, 3 years back, the government of India said, not only we will incentivize Indian drone makers, we'll also buy 8,000 crores of drones, the government of India. So from being a policy maker and enabler, it became a market maker. So सरकार ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया. मैंने आपको एक example दिया.
I'm remembering one of the line that the Honorable Prime Minister said, the government's business is not to be in business. Sir,
Except things that are strategic for the country.
social good, health, education, security.
No, defense, security.
सर थोड़ा सा आपको आपकी जवानी में ले जाते हैं. आपने वो कंट्रोल राज देखा था जो
मैं स्टूडेंट था.
ओके. देन 91 में रिफॉर्म्स हुए. वी ओपनड अप. Commonly they are called as the LPG reforms.
Right.
Liberalization, privatization and globalization. On ground आपको कुछ changes दिखे?
Of course.
थोड़ा सा पहले और बाद का थोड़ा सा.
पहले बात देखिए, हर सेक्टर में पहले वेटिंग होती थी. अब वेटिंग का है. वेटिंग है कहीं? अभी ऑर्डर करो, अभी आ जाएगा. चलो आज की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं, 15 साल पहले कर लो, वेटिंग नहीं है. राइट. You want to set up something. I mean, look at, there is a Korean company that did its IPO. The amount of wealth creation it's done in India surpasses the wealth creation it has done throughout its life period. So India has become so abundant. And there is, whatever anybody may say, India is growing, it's moving because there is real aspiration and there is real consumption. We're such a large country that we're consuming everything. And their aspirations are growing, so people's lifestyles are affluent. People's ambition is affluent. So, clearly we moved from scarcity to abundance as a country. Today, you want to buy anything in any domain, you have 10 choices to make or 20 choices to make. The sellers, the companies will line up at your doorstep to give you what you want. Whereas competitive, in some cases, that we would talk of leapfrogging. In some cases, the same technology is accessible to Indians the same day it is accessible to anybody anywhere in the world. Would you think of that? At least, I'm 53 and a half. When I was 10, this wasn't the case, right? I remember in 1982, the Asian Games happened, the color TV came for the first time, and the world changed. After that, it came. Television came, and then color TV came. Today, just the number of brands. Today, the exposure of children to internet has changed their worldview. Even children are making impactful enterprises, social impact enterprises at 10, 15. The idea of a lot of young people of achieving is to give back. For them, giving back is achieving. For us, when I was growing up, is to achieve something and then give back. That idea has also changed. For a lot of young people, achieving is giving back right up front. Giving back through their initiatives, through their time.
थोड़ा सा इसका नेगेटिव साइड पे आते हैं. आई वॉज रीडिंग एक्सचेंज फॉर मीडिया का एक आर्टिकल. द टाइटल वॉज द भारत पैराडॉक्स. Why India produces global CEOs but not global brands? Why are we still not able to build something like Google, Meta, but their CEOs will almost invariably be Indian?
That's a good, I think it's changing. I used to say that we are a company or a country which is like company that is services focused. We're not product focused. We are the back office of the world, services play. And, that has built our economy. So let's be grateful for that.
Right.
But the fact is, Indians are building product companies now. What does it take to build a company like Google? Innovation at the campus level. The Atal Innovation Mission was a step in that direction. Whether that will result into something or something like that where, academia and industry come together to build something. Also, the American venture capital industry is much older than Indian. Right now, also, the Indian capital participation in startups is only 10%. So 100 rupees that is being invested in Indian startups, only 10 rupees is Indian money, truly. 90% is global money. So I think that's changing. It used to be 2% 10 years back. 5 years back, it was 4%. It is 10% now. I'm sure it'll go to 20, 30% in the next 5 years. So I think India is changing. As I said, India's ambition is bigger. Today, Indian entrepreneurs are launching companies in India and they're going global in the first 3, 5, 10 years. So I think that's changing. Second is the support to government in building these enterprises is changing. The government is a big enabler. But ultimately, a private enterprise has to be built by an entrepreneur, by his or her ambition. I think over the next 10 years, you will see Indian companies which will be truly global in various domains. That is happening. And the reason we've not built global brands are built over a period of time. Longevity matters. And Indians were traditionally weak in branding and marketing. Let me say that. We focus on a lot of basics, but Americans are very good at branding, marketing. Also, the strengthening of IP laws over the last 2 decades. And entrepreneurs have also realized the value of building a brand. When you build a brand, you do an IPO, you flourish. People pay more for a brand. So I think there's more brand building and long-term view and an ambition that will help Indian entrepreneurs build global companies. Look at Mahindra. It is a global company, right? So it will happen. It'll happen in new areas like health tech. It will happen in maybe dev tech. It will happen. Look at a country like Israel. It produces more technology than the whole world produces because they have that culture of innovation.
समुद्र से पानी निकाल रहे हैं पीने का.
They have that culture of innovation. They've necessity is the mother of invention. In their case, they needed to build certain things for their survival. So I think the Indian entrepreneur ecosystem, fueled by the policy makers' support of such initiatives, right from the Prime Minister Modi's level, will see such enterprises created over the next decade.
Sir, thoda sa, I would like to speak on the concept of fear.
Of?
Fear or fear of failure, जो यूजुअली इंडियन सोसाइटी में है. मैं अपने एग्जांपल से स्टार्ट करता हूँ. प्रॉब्ली एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का भी कहीं ना कहीं वही है, दैट वी डू नॉट सेलिब्रेट फेलियर, राइट. सक्सेस के 100 बाप हैं, फेलियर अनाथ है. सो आई रिमेंबर वन इंसिडेंट.
आपने किसी फेलियर को बुलाया अपने पॉडकास्ट पे जिसे आपने मतलब
प्लान्ड है?
क्योंकि क्या है, हम वी लुक डाउन ऑन पीपल हु फेल. पीपल नेवर फेल, द आइडियाज फेल, कंपनीज फेल. People learn and they build something else. They take the experience. They learn from their mistakes. They learn from their environment, and they build something of value. But क्या है कि in India में अगर आप एक बार किसी चीज में फेल हो जाओ तो you become a pariah. People don't want to touch you. Outcast. You're like, there's nothing called failure. By trial, hit and trial, you get to somewhere. Entrepreneurship is about having an idea, but then going out and doing it. Sometimes it'll work in the exact way you planned, may not work. Sometimes it may not work in the first time. I mean, there are enough examples from the West of successful entrepreneurs, big entrepreneurs, who failed in the first 2-3 projects they did. I wouldn't say entrepreneurship. They didn't fail. The ideas failed, the projects failed. But इसमें सबसे बड़ी बात है, आपने कभी किसी को, माँ बाप को कहते सुना है, कोई बात नहीं, आप फेल हो जाना स्कूल में, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. सुना है कभी? तो वहां से है. मेरे 2 बच्चे हैं. I mean, academic excellence is very, very important. It's not about the talent of the person. Like my son is into entrepreneurship. He does a podcast called What Founders Think. He watches Shark Tank. He reads a lot. And he's very good. I keep testing him. He's very good. But we want him to go to a good college, school. But there are friends who are doing open schooling. They're helping their children build ventures at a very early stage. Though I started a podcast called The Dropout, of people who dropped out and built something. And I keep saying that my podcast should be so successful that people should drop out just to be on my podcast. But, ऐसा हो नहीं रहा है. तो ये एक फेलियर का ना हमारे we have not encouraged young people to succeed by failure. कुछ करा नहीं चला, उसको थोड़ा चेंज किया या नया किया, it's okay.
So मेरी पहली क्लास में this is what my teacher wrote on
God.
blackboard. If you clear civil services, you become this in India. If you do not, reverse them.
ठीक है. I know we are sold a certain dream when you're young. We what our parents tell, what our teachers tell, it stays in our conscious, subconscious, and that's what we become. So yes, being a civil servant is still very prestigious. It is still very impactful. A lot of policy makers. I mean, India has grown. You can give credit to politicians, but you must also give credit to policy makers, bureaucrats, who enabled it, who pioneered it. And a good bureaucrat can be dynamic. Of course, the right political leaders with the right frame of mind are able to work with such bureaucrats to bring about long-term change. So I think when I was growing up 20 years before you, now that I've grown up, I just lost hair, it would say you want to be a CA, you want to be a engineer, or you want to be a doctor. There was no lawyer. I mean, these days, lawyers, the legal profession is doing so well. And you can be an entrepreneur, you can be a therapist. I mean, the mental health domain is such a domain that over the next 10 years, in the era of artificial intelligence, You'll need more human touch. You'll need more conversation. Of course, you can talk to a bot, right? Imagine if there is a bot that I created, what would it be called? Batra. No, yeah, but jokes apart, I think new age careers are coming up. As I said sometime earlier, make your hobby your profession. You don't have to work. You have to choose domains that you feel you're playing, you're having fun. And if that becomes your profession, you know. So I think the old notions are being recast because of successes in other domains, change in the environment, some change in the culture, some change in the way families look at entrepreneurs, some role of media, role of the prime minister, role of policymakers, successful icons being created through uh, creation of enterprises. Some of them I named. I think it's changing.
Sir, we spoke of wealth creation. एक positive attitude develop हुआ, obviously with the support of the uh, government in power and social media influence. We are consuming content from West. But then at the same time, there are certain things that happen that dampen its spirits. Kingfisher scam, or let's say Nirav Modi scam. Then we are seeing loans are being taken, money being misutilized, and those people ran out outside the country. तो कहीं ना कहीं वो दोबारा से एक सिनिसिज्म लेके आता है.
They are very small part of that. First of all, रोड पे एक्सीडेंट होते हैं तो आप गाड़ी चलाना थोड़ा बंद कर देते हो, कर देते हो. So look at the positive. See, it's up to you. I read somewhere that the only real failure is death. Everything else is in the mind. ठीक है. So it's about your perspective in life. These are ऐसे सब नहीं है. Just because some are like that, कि सब ऐसे है. मैंने पहले भी बोला जनरलाइजेशन में मैं तो बिलीव नहीं करता. Because everyone is. But there are much more in proportion who are doing the right thing. So I think just because there are few bad apples, you can't stop eating the apples. And also this ecosystem is getting mature. It'll be difficult to do such things. Investors are getting smarter. Entrepreneurs also have seen if they build a company ethically, long term, the dividends of that are much better. I was thinking about, I will not name them, I was thinking about the sons of an entrepreneur who's died. They're abroad, they can't come to India, and the business being sold to someone. So what is the point in creating such a large business if iska ant aisa hai? So I think you have to look at positives. To be inspired, you have to look at such negative instances to know what you shouldn't be doing.
You said startups, entrepreneurship has been over glamorized, probably, maybe mostly because of the social media.
The media also headlines. इतना पैसा रेस किया. We never do यार. इतने लोग फेल किए. So हम इतनी पॉजिटिव हवा बनाते रहते हैं एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप में.
सर स्टार्टअप में ना आजकल जो एक मॉडल चला हुआ है वो मोर और लेस वर्ल्ड वाइड है. दैट्स द कैश बर्न मॉडल, डिस्काउंटेड कैश फ्लो थिंग.
वो था, चेंज हो गया है. पिछले 2 साल में चेंज हो गया. मैं बोलूँगा 2015 से 2021-22 तक था. 23 से चेंज होना. पिछले 2.5-3 साल में इन्वेस्टर्स वांट प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी और पाथ टू प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी. बट कई वेंचर्स ऐसे होते हैं जिसमें acquisition of customers is key, behavior change hai, and there is a pioneer's burden. You're creating the market, or you're the first person. And these days I say there was a term called first mover advantage. I say there is a late mover advantage also. Okay. You have to burn less cash. People are already acclimatized with a certain service, certain way of doing business. So वो change हो रहा है. पिछले 2.5-3 साल में change हुआ है. But for a lot of categories which are pioneering, and you know, I keep saying, Ishaan, that you know what you know what you don't know, but you don't know what you don't know. पहले मुझे बोलता था कोई आता था, मैं बोला ये चलेगा ही नहीं. अब मुझे क्या पता अभी. I used to be very cynically, कैसे चलेगा वो, कैसे चलेगा, किसको क्या पता क्या चलेगा और क्या नहीं चलेगा. So you know, in some cases you have to take early bets, and to develop that you have to put large amounts of money. I mean, what's happening in AI, just the amount of money going in AI, right? Again, there are two views. Some people feel that disproportionate money is being put for the kind of results and impact. Some people feel it's very little money being put, so time will show.
Last question on entrepreneurship. द इन्वेस्टमेंट थिंग, इन्वेस्टर्स इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, शार्क टैंक भी एक कल्चर लेके आया इंडिया में, पीपल स्टार्टेड कंज्यूमिंग दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ कंटेंट, लोगों ने वो डील्स होते हुए देखा, दैट्स ऑन द टीवी। रियल लाइफ में आपने भी इन्वेस्ट करा है, आपने दूसरे लोगों को भी इन्वेस्ट
मैंने
देखा
इन्वेस्टमेंट
हुआ
रेज
है,
भी किया है,
रेज
2
भी किया
बार।
है। तो जब कोई इन्वेस्टर इन्वेस्ट करता है, चाणक्य का एक कोट था अर्थशास्त्र में, मत्स्य न्याय, बड़ी मछली छोटी मछली को खा जाती है।
मैंने बोला ना,
ये ऐसा होता है ड्यूरिंग इन्वेस्टमेंट, इस जो भी फाउंडर होता है उसको पुट डाउन किया जाता है, और
ऐसा नहीं होता। देखो, ऐसा नहीं होता, जर्नलाइज नहीं कर सकते। ऐसा होता है कि अगर फाउंडर डूइंग द राइट थिंग एंड ग्रोइंग द कंपनी, देन द फाउंडर विल स्टे। एंड इन एन एंटरप्राइज विच इज एन अर्ली स्टेज एंटरप्राइज, इफ यू टेक आउट द फाउंडर, उसमें है क्या? कुछ नहीं है। फिर तो आपने पैसे लगाए वेस्ट ही किया ना। सो ऐसे जनरलाइज नहीं करना चाहिए कि बड़ा इन्वेस्टर खा जाता है। इन्वेस्टर के इंटरेस्ट में है कि फाउंडर मोटिवेटेड रहे एंड गिव कंफर्ट टू द फाउंडर टू रन इट, टू क्रिएट वैल्यू फॉर द एंटरप्राइज एंड फॉर द इन्वेस्टर। बट कुछ होते हैं वहां पे ताली दोनों हाथ से बजती है, एक हाथ से नहीं बजती है।
एक्सचेंज फॉर मीडिया पे आते हैं, आप थोड़ा सा उसको डिफाइन करेंगे फॉर द व्यूअर्स जो थोड़ा सिंपल लैंग्वेज में समझना चाहे कि व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज दैट मार्केट प्लेस?
Exchange for Media is the number one website on the business of advertising, marketing, media, communication. आपको अगर एडवर्टाइजिंग इंडस्ट्री में क्या हो रहा है जानना है तो आप रोज पढ़िए। आपको मार्केटिंग में क्या हो रहा है तो रोज पढ़िए। मीडिया में क्या हो रहा है, कम्युनिकेशन। एंड वी आर द होम पेज ऑफ पीपल, ऑफ ब्रांड मैनेजर्स, हेड्स ऑफ मार्केटिंग, पीपल हु स्पेंड मनी ऑन ब्रांड बिल्डिंग and the whole ecosystem. Traditionally, it would be called trade media for advertising, but I don't like the word trade media. It's a community on marketing, advertising, media, communication. We are on the net, we are in print, we are in face-to-face initiatives, which is events. So that's what we built.
So, on Exchange for Media, you have...
But we started to build a marketplace ki khareed farokh to paye. Lekin we were ahead of time. We become a content play. But maybe now is the time to build a marketplace because we know all the stakeholders. They have trust in us. We've done 25 years of business with every stakeholder. The environment is such where a marketplace works. Maybe the time is now.
So, if I understand it correctly, Exchange for Media has advertisers, professionals, corporates. It comes out with the content. एक जगह पे सब लोग हैं, डिमांड सप्लाई दोनों जगह से मैच होती है यहाँ पे। सेम चीज जोमेटो करता है रेस्टोरेंट डोमेन में, उबर करता है कैब डोमेन में। So will it be right to say that you are the Zomato of the media or the Uber of the media?
That's how we started. That's how we started. We wanted to be a marketplace, but we became a content and a media play. Since then, the world has moved. Today, we live in the era of programmatic marketplaces. Digital spends are growing. So, if we launched a marketplace, it would be apt that we are what you say. But currently, we are not a marketplace. We started like that.
Being in the media and in your journey, you have sat with politicians, bureaucrats, corporate honchos, एक ही रूम में। एक्सचेंज फॉर मीडिया भी आया, डिफरेंट मैगजीन्स आई। There is an element of power that comes with the word media. How do you define power?
मैंने कभी ऐसे सोचा नहीं इस बारे में। एंड जो मेरे साथ काम करते हैं रोज, या जो मेरे को जानते हैं लंबे समय से, वो जानते हैं। इनफैक्ट आई स्पेंड मच मोर टाइम विद द नैरो सेट ऑफ पीपल दैट आर रेलेवेंट फॉर माय वर्क। मैंने कभी ज़्यादा पॉलिटिशियंस को ज़्यादा जाके नहीं मिला, ज़्यादा ब्यूरोक्रेट्स को मिला। हाँ, एनबी मिनिस्टर को मिलता हूँ या एनबी सेक्रेटरी को, बिकॉज़ इट्स अबाउट मीडिया या सम अदर सेक्टर्स लाइक वी डू। So, I have never seen it as a power. I have seen it as a responsibility. And I've seen it as work, that I'm doing something, and if it brings some influence, it does. But as like a savings bank account, the more you spend, the less is the influence. So I've never thought, and if you're a responsible leader, we are leader in that space. We have to be very careful about what we do, what we don't do, how we do, when we do. So I don't think it has ever occurred to me or any of my colleagues that we have power. We have a lot of responsibility and pressure because of being a leader and pioneer in this space. And we are very focused on the narrow stakeholders that are needed for our business. And, I'm saying this on a podcast, but people who work with me for a long time, people who know me will tell you that what I'm saying is what I'm focused on.
Sir, you have been very vocal about 3 C's: content, community,
And commerce.
and commerce. थोड़ा सा उसको define करके what synergy it creates, if you can elaborate on
We live in a world where you can access information to a single click. You can buy, whether in a B2C environment or a B2B environment. So content creates a community creats commerce, marketplace. So content is a glue to bring people, and then you give them opportunity to click and buy something. So eventually everything we are building in terms of community will have a marketplace or a commerce angle. And that reflects what's happening in the world. And I've been talking about it for 20 years.
Culture eats strategy.
For breakfast. That's what I read in the business school at MDI. One of my professor used to say.
Regarding acquisitions, mergers, or
Yeah, that's in every year.
so can you please elaborate upon that?
I'll tell you very simply. As I said, exchange for media, we have a certain culture. We decide something, we do. Today in business world also we have that culture. But the company that you inherit, which has existed for almost 34 years before you acquire it, has a certain culture. Changing that takes a lot of time. I used to think it's an easier job. It took me 5 years, 6 years, maybe 7 years to do that. And that's what I always feel now, that culture matters. Culture creates magic or hinders magic creation. So build the right culture. And culture is a series of said and unsaid behaviors.
Sir, business world also has this award system, giving awards, recognition. Human beings are wired to seek validation. They feel good when they are validated. और प्रशंसा तो भगवान को भी अच्छी लगती है. सो जो ये अवार्ड सिस्टम है, डू यू थिंक कि ये वैलिडेशन को रीइंफोर्स कर रहा है और एक स्टैंडर्ड बिहेवियर से कंफर्म करने के लिए इंसेंटिवाइज कर रहा है, और इज इट प्रमोटिंग मेरिट?
It's doing a bit of all. एक बिजनेस में क्या चीज चाहिए होती है? 3 things. One, you need team, talent, people. Second, you need customers. Third, you need capital, right? Why do you need people? Need value companies, individuals? Because a third party certification or recognition matters, especially if it comes through a platform that is respected, right? Especially if it comes through a jury process. Especially it comes because, like we have an entry fee. It is a participation fee. It does not ensure, and so you have to present to the jury. You have to. So also the role of a media company is to discover new people, new talent, new ideas. I think through our awards we are doing that. Through our honors we are doing that. And we also discover new people, companies, idea, which become an editorial product for us. So it's the right thing to do. There is competition to get talent. So if you are recognized as a company that is good for talent, it helps you attract. If you're recognized for some work that you've done as a company, it helps you attract customers. It helps you attract. Because I ask some established entrepreneurs when they apply to our awards, why are you applying? You're successful. And this is the gist of what I've been able to. So, I will not be a cynic. Yes, there are too many awards happening, I will say. So, but through the right platforms, through a right process, through integrity, through locus standi. We have a locus standi to give business awards. In exchange for media, we have a locus standi to give marketing and advertising awards. We've been reporting on it for 25 years. In business world, we've been reporting on it for 45 years. We have some understanding of the domain. We bring in the jury, which are really tall figures in that domain who know the domain and who have high integrity. Now, that's how you can be close to perfect. I keep saying that there are only 3 people who are perfect: Lord Shiva, my wife, and Modi ji. Baki sab to imperfect hai. Right? So, some processes can be close to perfect. And in a world where encouragement means a lot, if somebody's won, the coverage that we've done can help them get either better talent, better customers, capital. I think we played our role beyond validation and beyond feeling good, all that. I'm talking of functional things that an award does.
Are awards purchased in general? Not
I was amongst the legal fraternity, and I have lawyers as friends, and we live in a commercial world. A lot of things happen. So I will not comment on that. But possibly, yes. I said I won't comment, and I commented. But, it's okay. Why should you go for an award that you have to pay for? You should win an award because of your merit, because of your work. Anything that you have to pay for has lesser value.
But maybe that's how the world has become.
Maybe for different. But, I keep telling people up, अच्छा काम करो media को, like people come to how do we build a brand. I said, अच्छा काम करो, we'll find you. Make an impact in your domain, we'll find you. Similarly, for awards, apply, present well, have a good body of work. अच्छा काम करो, we'll find you. आप तो मेरे को नहीं जानते थे ना, अब जैसे भी सेरेंडिपिशियसली मैं आपके पास आया, लेकिन फैक्ट इज आपने मेरा काम देखा और आपने बोला कि चलो इससे बात करते हैं. तो हम भी ऐसे ही जब फिल्टरिंग करते हैं, वी सी व्हाट इज द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ द कंपनी, व्हाट आर दे डूइंग, व्हाट आर देयर top line, bottom line. In some cases, there are early stage companies, there's no top line, bottom line.
What's the future of media? That's
The future of media is bright. How you define, because that's a question I keep thinking about it. But we'll have to reinvent our business. We have to compete with influencers, content creators, podcasters, Google, Meta. So we'll have to embrace the new rules of this content creator economy and behave like that. We'll have to behave like a 45-year-old startup. Though we are 45-year-old, but we will have to play by the rules of a startup. So the need for content is only growing. The need for credible content is only growing, where there's so much cacophony, there's so much noise. So you'll go to voices that are definitive. कि एक्सचेंज फॉर मीडिया ने स्टोरी करी, हमने ऐसी रेपुटेशन बनाई है कि सच होगी. अभी हमने नवंबर में एक स्टोरी करी है कॉर्पोरेट एग्जीक्यूटिव की जाने की, और वहाँ पे सीईओ से लेके जितने, और उसको इतना प्रेशर डाला कि स्टोरी ठीक नहीं, हमने हटाई नहीं. 15 दिसंबर को उन्होंने ऑफिशियली प्रेस रिलीज किया कि ये स्टोरी ठीक है. तो हमने रेपुटेशन बनाई है. हमने एक सैटरडे को स्टोरी की जो हमने एक सेकेंडरी सोर्स पे देख के, कि मेरे एडिटर ने मेरे आई वाज एट अ कॉन्सर्ट और मेरा फोन बंद था, रेयर. बट द फैक्ट I called and he said, I've got it from a secondary source and the primary source didn't respond. I said, remove the story because credibility is important. So the business model of media is under pressure. We'll have to use AI. We'll have to be really valuable as a brand. We'll have to be domain authority in that domain. We'll have to embrace technology in a big way. We'll have to dumb down on cost structures. But media will morph. But the ability to tell stories, to be a storyteller is there. And hence that ability will help us build a media business model which will help us survive. But as I said to you, there are 2 people who are eating everybody's breakfast, lunch and dinner. Meta and Google.
You use the word storytelling. I'm very much fascinated by storytelling. Do you think storytelling is the future of content creation?
It already is happening.
Okay.
individuals that tell stories are popular. You know, you listen to certain podcasts. I read certain books. I follow certain people in real life because they have a nuanced point of view. They have great storytelling skills and they're authentic. It's already happening. Media platforms have to reinvent. And can I tell you, there is a value of established things in a world where there is so much of chaos, uncertainty, cacophony, overload of information. So sources that stand out and are honest and authentic will be even more dear, and people will pay for subscription of those services. Look at what is happened to Washington Post. It's no longer a newspaper. Its website is so strong. People are paying for subscription.
सर कमिंग बैक टू द सब्सक्रिप्शन थिंग, लेट्स से हिंदुस्तान में 150 करोड़ लोग हैं, कितने लोग सब्सक्रिप्शन पे कर सकते हैं? 10 करोड़, 20 करोड़, 30
अरे 10 करोड़ लोग पे करने लगेंगे तो बल्ले बल्ले हो जाएगा यार, बल्ले बल्ले हो जाएगा। मैं बोलता हूँ बिजनेस डोमेन में 10 लाख भी करने लगे, 1 मिलियन वो करने लगे हैं ऑलरेडी। एक सर्टेन सर्विस है बिजनेस में, इसके 1 मिलियन पेड सब्सक्राइबर होता है। तो अगर 5 मिलियन में पहुंच गए तो दैट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ द लार्ज नंबर्स वी हैव इन इंडिया। 5 मिलियन 10 मिलियन हो गए तो मतलब हमारा बिजनेस मॉडल तो बहुत अच्छा हो गया। उसके लिए एक सर्टेन कंटेंट, दैट्स व्हाई इट नीड्स डीप पॉकेट्स इन अ लॉन्ग टर्म व्यू। और हो रहा है, वो नए प्लेटफॉर्म्स आ रहे हैं, किसी के 25,000 है, 30,000 है, 1 लाख सब्सक्राइबर्स हैं पेड, वो हो रहा है।
सर मेरा इंटरेस्ट बाकी के 120 करोड़ में है, वो तो वही कंटेंट कंज्यूम करेंगे ना जो मीडिया दिखा रहा है।
हाँ मतलब फ्री कंटेंट।
फ्री कंटेंट, अब फ्री क्या होगा? फ्री बायस्ड होगा।
हो सकता है, सब फ्री बायस नहीं होता है,
मोस्ट ऑफ इट।
नहीं मोस्ट ऑफ इट भी नहीं होता है, बट वो थोड़ा पॉपुलिस्ट कंटेंट होगा, वो जैसा वो देखना चाहते हैं, बॉलीवुड या मसाला या पाकिस्तान में क्या हो रहा है, या यूक्रेन वॉर में क्या हो रहा है, या हिंदू मुस्लिम, या ऐसी फ्रिवलेस चीजें, बिकॉज उनको उसमें मजा आता है ना। अब आप देखो, इतना मूवीज में, कंटेंट में, एक्शन में इतना ज्यादा वायलेंस है, वो वाली मूवीज चल रही हैं, क्यों चल रही हैं? ऑफ कोर्स यू कैन आर्ग्यू दैट अ मूवी इज अ गेट अवे फ्रॉम नॉर्मल, इट्स अ एस्केप, ऑल दैट, बट द अमाउंट ऑफ violence in movies is getting so successful. So more movies which have violence are being created. So I think there is a space for both. That's what I'd say. The only definitive thing in life is that your parents love you, that there is God or karma or universe, whatever you want to call it. And tax and death are certain. Everything else is what you believe is true. Whatever you can make it happen.
सर व्हाट्स योर नेक्स्ट वेंचर?
मैं अभी देखिए, मैं बहुत कुछ, I'm a ड्रीमर, तो मैं रोज सोच, और मैं अभी आई एम फोकस्ड ऑन बिल्डिंग बिजनेस वर्ल्ड, उसमें भी बहुत काम है, और एक्सचेंज फॉर्म मीडिया को भी रिकास्ट करना है, उसमें ऑपरेशनल नहीं हूँ, बट मैं उसके बारे में सोचता हूँ। तो ये 99% टाइम मेरा बिजनेस वर्ल्ड में जा रहा है, और 1% टाइम ही फिल्म में जाता है, तो इनको रिकास्ट करना है। आई एम एसोसिएटेड विद iwmbuzz.com, so Siddharth is kind enough to seek my suggestions. I feel I can add value. तो मैं नई चीज़ें तो नहीं कर रहा हूँ अभी, बट जब भी अगले साल अगर भगवान की कृपा रहती है, तो मैं कोई माइंड बॉडी सोल, स्पिरिचुअल, रिलीजियस, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल लाइफ, इस स्पेस में कुछ करना चाहता हूँ, बिकॉज मेरी खुद की रुचि बहुत है ऐसी चीज़ों में। सो अगेन वो वेंचर के लिए बहुत सारे आइडियाज हैं, पिछले 15 महीने से मैं उसके बारे में डीपली सोच रहा हूँ, और कई लोग और भी बना रहे हैं स्पेस में। मैं एक encompassing वेंचर बना रहा हूँ, पीपल आर बिल्डिंग इट इन डिफरेंट डोमेन्स एंड सब डोमेन्स, बट माइंड बॉडी सोल, well-being space में, well-being can be spiritual, can be religious, it can be mental, it can be about fitness, it can be about astrology, it can be about counseling, so something in that space, but bringing spirituality, religion, faith, all that together. But that's a space I'm a seeker. I know very little, and the more you know, the little you know, the less you know. But there's so much to know. और हमारा जो सनातन का, मैं लास्ट नाइट आई वाज विद दक्ष भारद्वाज जी, हिज फादर वाज द लेट डॉक्टर सत्यकाम भारद्वाज, और उन्होंने मुझे शब्दों की एटिमोलॉजी से लेके जा रहे थे कि इस शब्द का क्या मतलब होता है, कि मदिरा का क्या मतलब होता है. ट्रेडिशनल तो हम सोचते हैं कि मदिरा मीन्स whiskey or wine or whatever. So he was explaining something that gives you energy. Then he was saying, जैसे हम बोलते हैं ब्रह्मास्त्र, ब्रह्मास्त्र क्या होता है, right? So there is so much to learn, our Vedas, our Purans. So I want to be, that's something that interests me. I love reading of any kind. So, I want to spend doing more. And I want to do India's largest business-led fest. I started it 3 years back. The habit of reading is coming down in people. There are very few CEOs who read one book a week. Young people are, scrolling too much on Instagram. They're not reading. And I read this study. I was watching Christiana Monpour's show on CNN, and she quoted that study. Her colleague quoted that study that the fourth graders in America, because they're spending so much time on their phones using digital social media tools, AI tools, and they're reading so little that their ability of their brains to process and read and write is coming down. Now that's very worrying. So I want to do something to increase the habit of writing, getting people to come out of their homes and meet people, going to playgrounds. They're not just being glued to the screens. Maybe access to social media before 18 should not be allowed. Maybe access to AI till 18 should not be allowed. It should be controlled. Australia can do it. So can we. So I don't know.
You're in favor of that?
100%.
Not allowing children, adults
Because
below 18.
The benefits are there of allowing, but the negative impact is much more. So it's a trade-off. Life is a trade-off. I go and talking with you, or I can go to the temple. I'm enjoying talking to you, but life is a trade-off.
Second last question. Speaking of reading, I would like to talk about 2 books. I'm interested in what will happen in the future. पहली किताब लिखी थी फ्रांसिस फुकुयामा ने, The End of History. He said, Russia, USSR dismantle हो गया था. He said capitalism has won and the global markets will define the future. फिर निकल के आते हैं सैमुअल हंटिंगटन भाई साहब. He wrote a book, Clash of Civilizations. He said the history is still not done. The future is of clashes. Whites will clash with other races. Christianity will clash with Confucius, Chinese culture, Islamic culture, and other cultures. There will be conflicts worldwide. How do you see the future? Has the history ended, or?
Yeah, I'm not a futurist. I'm not an astrologer. I don't know what will happen. But yes, currently it seems like a very dangerous. I mean, in the last 1 week, the fight between Ukraine and Russia has intensified. There are talks of halting the war. The Israel-Gaza-Palestine conflict is not ending. There's so much happening in South Sudan. There's loss of lives. So it's a very sensitive world right now. The Middle East is on the boil, which can mean very adverse things for the rest of the world. So I don't know what will happen in the future. Honest answer is I don't know. But yes, it would be nice to not have wars, to not have such loss of lives. Migration out of poor countries into Europe is a serious issue because the integration is not happening. The war for AI has started. And the singularity may happen much earlier than 2024. Now the war of haves and have-nots in AI, especially in terms of countries that will have more superiority in AI will dominate the world. So it's a very, very different world than what we saw in the last decade. I hope there are lesser wars. I live on hope, but they say hope is not a plan. But I don't know. I mean, honest answer is we have a president who does flip-flops on policy, who has a very narrow view of what the role of America is in the world, and that has diminished the value of America in the world. All said and done, America was a stabilizer in the world. So I don't know, will that change in 2026? Maybe. But I think India is doing well. I would like to see India do well. I'd like to see the progress that the country has made under Prime Minister Modi continue, whether it's in bringing our cultural heritage back, making it cool to flaunt it, the advances in technology, and the role India is playing at a global level. I'd like that to grow. More and more Indian entrepreneurs doing well. Maybe some Indian media company becoming a global player. That's what I'd like India to see, to do. And maybe in sports, we're doing well. I think the more you can do well at sports, you'll automatically do well in every other domain.
सर लास्ट वन थोड़ा फिलोसफिकल है, लाइफ का है. इफ आई रिमूव योर नेम, योर एजुकेशन, योर प्रोफेशन, योर प्लेस ऑफ बर्थ,
डिफिकल्ट
सब
है.
कुछ, देन हु आर यू?
ये तो मुश्किल आइडेंटिटी होती है. नाम तो सबसे बड़ी आइडेंटिटी है. मेरे माँ बाप कौन है वो सबसे बड़ी आइडेंटिटी है. ये दो बहुत बड़ी आइडेंटिटीज हैं. मुझे नहीं पता मैं कौन हूँ. ऐसे मैं नहीं सोचता हूँ. मैं इतना गहन अध्ययन नहीं करता हूँ. मैं रोज अपने कामों में लगा रहता हूँ. आज ये इवेंट है, आज वो इवेंट है, अभी ये इशू आ रहा है, अभी आगे की ये प्लानिंग करनी है, ये रिक्रूटमेंट करनी है, कुछ एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव इश्यूज भी होते हैं. मेरा उसमें पूरा दिन निकल जाता है. मैं बिल्कुल सच्ची बात. आई लाइक रीडिंग एंड आई लाइक वॉचिंग सर्टेन कॉन्टेंट. दैट इज द अदर टाइम आई स्पेंड. सो आई डोंट नो, बट आई डेफिनेटली नो दैट आई एम ग्रेटफुल फॉर whatever God has given me. And I'm grateful every day I wake up. I keep saying, you talk to 3 C's, I'll give you, which I keep saying that we should do away with 3 C's. First is criticism. We shouldn't criticize people, ideas, companies without knowing too much. Comparison. We all compare. We live in a world of social media. But each one's journey is unique. We shouldn't compare. And third is complain. We have so much. We have a house over our head. So much, at least. So I feel we are blessed. I keep saying we should embrace the 3 H's, which is, first is hard work. Whatever you focus on grows. Life is a trade-off. So focus on things that matter. Second H is humility. जितनी आप humble होंगे उतना आपके सेहत के लिए अच्छा है. Forget everybody else. And third, which is the most important, I'm never depressed, but I'm low energy sometimes. If I'm low on sleep, something's bothering me. But I stay hopeful. The most important is H is hope. If you're hopeful, you'll get the energy to make a change. हमेशा मैं कहता हूँ 2 चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एक्चुअली 3. एक तो नियत, इंटेंट. दूसरा कोशिश करना, make efforts. And third is staying hopeful. They all are related in some way. And since I go on public speaking and all, I added the 3 G's which are most important. I hope all of you in 2026 embrace 3 G's. First, I genuinely believe gratitude. I am in my own way grateful to the people who helped me grow. Of course, my parents, my wife, people who believed in me, my partners, our team members at Exchange for Media, investors. So gratitude attracts blessings. I'm not saying more. Then is grit. That don't give up. There'll be hard times. Still believe in. There'll be doubt. There'll be less energy. But keep going. And I'm not talking in theory. I follow. But the third most important is grace. जो भी होता है वो ईश्वर की कृपा से होता है. So I keep saying grace will get you to places where hustle won't. So ईश्वर की, मैं हिंदू, मैं प्रारब्ध में बिलीव करता हूँ. Everything is preordained. I don't know. Of course, I go to astrologers, but and they're good. But still, you work hard, you give it, you show up. So that's what it is. I'm grateful. I have lots of unfinished things. I hope in 2026 I grow our ventures and make them future ready.
So I'll pick up the word hope, and Lord of the Rings is one of my most favorite series. Books पढ़ी थी उसमें there is that wizard Gandalf. So he says hope is the word on which the world survives, Mr. Frodo Baggins. So indeed you are an eternal optimist.
I am.
It was lovely conversation. Thank you.
So much. I also enjoyed it. But मैं ना कोई पॉडकास्ट किताबों के मेंशन के बिना खत्म नहीं हो सकता. मैं आपके व्यूअर्स को 3 किताबें बोलना चाहूँगा जो इस साल मैंने पढ़ी. एक किताब मैंने पढ़ी फ्लूक बाय ब्रायन क्लॉस, तो ही इज अ सोशल साइंटिस्ट, व्हिच सेज हर चीज़ तुक्का है. आप अपने आप को इतना क्रेडिट देते हो. Everything is serendipity, luck, chance. So I loved that book. It's great storytelling. Then I read this book, which I just finished last week. It's on the Empire of AI by Karen Ho. And the third book I read, I think I actually read it last year. Somebody sent it to me, the publisher, 5 days after my mother had expired. It's called Meditations for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman. It's a lovely book. I would recommend these 3 books to you. I mean, I can recommend 200 books, but these 3 are the best. You must read them. Lovely books. And books are your best friend.
So even the life coming into existence on Earth, one sperm got lucky. That's probably also a fluke.
Don't know ईश्वर को पता है. Way beyond my pay grade as this.
Great, sir. It's lovely having you.
Same here.
बहुत अच्छा.
इतनी देर से हम गपशप मार रहे हैं.